That sound never gets old. Greetings, mortals, this is Warevo once again, and please forgive the abrupt change in series. My upscaler decided to kick the bucket on me. The device that I was using to connect my PlayStation 2 to my capture card no longer functions, so until I can get a new one, I will be putting Gex and Ape Escape both on hold to play Spyro the Dragon, which is an old favorite of mine. Spyro, much like Gex, is a very close childhood friend. Spyro, Gex, Ape Escape, Kingdom Hearts, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. These are all games that defined my youth.
Okay, rolling.
Oh, it's been peaceful here in the 5 worlds, or is it 6? For a dragon's age. We now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Gnorc character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Gnorc is a simple creature. Simple! He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat! Besides, he is ugly. Ugly? That does it!
Looks like I've got some things to do.
I know my way around Spyro much better than I do Gex, because I spent a lot more time with Spyro than I did Gex.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the artisan world. Then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Gnorc? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
There are a few things that I remember differently from the main game, which, until recently, I chalked up to the Mandela effect. But recently I found an ISO for an old demo that I used to play in PlayStation Underground, courtesy of my brother. And after replaying the demo is in fact most of what I'm remembering. Those differences will be pointed out in the demo video. Much like an Ape Escape, the demo was my first foray into Spyro the Dragon. But I'm not going to talk about that here. Let's just enjoy the music, shall we?
Where's Nasty Gnorc? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro! You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
So, a fun little fact I learned while editing this video. The soundtrack for Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, Spyro Year of the Dragon, and Spyro Enter the Dragonfly were actually composed by Stuart Copeland. If that name sounds familiar to some of you older folks, this is the very same Stuart Copeland who was the drummer for the British rock band The Police. The one and the same. His music was reimagined for the Spyro Reignited trilogy, though Reignited does have an option to listen to the original soundtrack as well. So that's a fun little thing for you if you ever want to try out the Reignited trilogy, which I highly recommend because the Reignited trilogy is far superior in many ways, though the classic is still fun. Now this platform here, both in the original and in Reignited, is very tricky to get on. You have to jump at it from just the right spot, in just the right angle, in just the right way. In the Reignited trilogy, they even made this a skill point. Now this next dragon you're about to see is a rare instance in this game where the same dragon has different dialogue depending on what point of the game you're at. There are certain conditions that need to be fulfilled to trigger the alternate dialogue. In this case, the trigger is leaving one of the worlds through the vortex at the end of the level.
Cool Flash, do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal in the dragon mouth, but you are not yet ready, Spyro. First, you must complete one of the other artisan lands.
Now, one might believe that the word complete that he used there, complete the world, means to 100% the world. No. All you have to do is go into a world and touch the vortex, that's it.
Hey, Spyro, press the jump button twice to glide, and don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks, plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
Now, I was recently put into a position where I had to stop and ask myself, why do I favor 3D free-roaming, open-world, action-adventure platformers like this and Ape Escape over something like, say, some of the more modern Mario games that are linear and extremely puzzle-based? It's because these, I'm good at. I excel at games like this. Somebody had set me in front of a copy of Super Mario Wonder, and I couldn't do it. Most of the levels I played were primarily puzzle-based. I cannot do puzzle games. Now I know what you're thinking. There are puzzle elements in the Spyro games. That's just the thing. There are puzzle elements to them, yes, but they are not puzzle first. Most of the modern Mario games are puzzle games first. And I cannot solve puzzles to save my life. There are very few exceptions to that, and Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage happens to be one of those exceptions. Now, Spyro Year of the Dragon, that's a tough one. Even by my standards, it is incredibly difficult. Of course, my standards aren't very high, so take that with a grain of salt. But games like this are my bread and butter. There will be times when, just like in my Gex and Ape Escape videos, where I fail miserably from time to time, but eventually I will succeed. Where puzzle games, eventually I'll get frustrated, get mad, then I'll rage quit and give up. And to me, that's not fun. This is fun. Sitting here on my couch or in a chair with a controller, turning my brain off and just playing the game and letting my imagination go.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
You know what? I think I'm gonna play a little game with you guys. So, the next video I do will, as I said before, be the Spyro the Dragon demo. When I play it, I want you guys to pay close attention, and I want to see in the comments how many differences you were able to spot between the demo, which is a demo of a prototype, and this, which is the finished product. Let's see how many of y'all are paying attention. Good luck and happy hunting. And I'll tell you, there's a lot. Some of them will be very obvious, some of them will be very subtle and easy to miss. Sorry, I was just enjoying the music there for a minute. I love the soundtrack in this game. Stuart Copeland did an amazing job. I talk about the Ape Escape soundtrack, but man.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the X button at the top of a jump, and try pressing the triangle button to drop down in mid-flight.
Now here's the first part where gliding actually comes into serious play. In order to reach that area over there and 100% the level, you have to know how to glide. And it was while playing this part right here that I remembered, while you're running with Spyro, he has a tendency to slide, which is something I had never noticed before. And it's very subtle, but yeah, there is at least some momentum.
After you freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya.
I just like how that dragon, the stereotypical geezer, let me tell you a story. And Spyro's just like, nope, no thanks, I gotta go, bye. Ooh, right here, that purple box right there is an extra life. And you may have noticed a little pair of eyes popping out of it. It's implied that it is Spyro, or maybe an alternate version of Spyro, sticking out of the chest. And I did not mean to go into the whirlwind, but whatever.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
Some of Spyro's interactions with these dragons is hilarious. Yeah, sure, whatever. Go away now. Spyro's such a brat in this game. I mentioned earlier that while I'm no good at puzzle games, I still excel at the Spyro and Ape Escape games and stuff like that. But there is one part in a much later level that frustrated me so much in this game that I actually had to give up on that part, and I never ended up 100%ing this game because of that. That is the one thing that I was never able to figure out until I played it in Spyro Reignited. But we'll come to that when we get there. And yes, when I get there, I am going to have to look up a walkthrough on how to do it because I can never remember. Right here, we have a little trick I actually learned in Spyro Reignited where you charge at the thief, when you're close enough, you flame him, and that takes him down without you actually having to physically touch him. And your flame gives you just a little bit of extra distance, enough to be able to stop the thief in his tracks. Right here, you have a chance to appreciate Sparks' speeding animation. Now, unlike in the later games, Sparks will not feed if you're at full health. Where in Spyro 2 and 3, he will continuously eat butterflies as long as you keep destroying the fodder animals. In Spyro 2, they introduced the eat 10 butterflies, get an extra life thing, which is a really good way to rack up extra lives if you have the patience to dedicate to it. In Spyro 1, that's not there. Instead, they have the little purple chests, which are replaced in Spyro 2 and 3 with glass bottles with butterflies in them. I personally prefer the chests with the silver dragon statues. I mean, come on, it's a silver dragon statue. It's cool. But in the Reignited trilogy, instead of eating 10 butterflies to get an extra life, all you have to do is destroy 10 fodder animals. And Sparks will eat the blue butterfly that spawns, then you'll get an extra life. Instead of having to painstakingly have Sparks eat every single one of the butterflies, which is much more convenient. Now, I talk a lot about my past with my games and my emotional connections. And yeah, I have a deep emotional connection to Gex and Ape Escape, but Gex was more like a teacher. Gex was my sensei, my master. Where Spyro was my childhood best friend. I was there when Spyro was born. September 9th, 1998, this game was released. And that's when I started playing. And Spyro and I have been best buddies ever since.
Cool Flash, do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal behind me. You can challenge him now, if you feel you are ready.
To my knowledge, to the best of my recollection, there is one other dragon in the game that happens with, that has two different dialogues. And I think it happens at the very end of the game, unless I'm mistaken. It could be a classic Mandela effect, me not remembering it right or whatever, but I'll worry about that when I get there. For now, this has been Warevo. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Y'all know what's coming up next. Thank you so much. Take care and God bless.